Welcome to the Watching Humans podcast. I'm Skylar Thomas. I'm doing another episode with the theme of humans versus human intelligence. Gonna look at Costco chicken this time. You may have noticed that ARM Investigations has been releasing some footage of their undercover work when they went into Costco's chicken production facilities and revealed horrifying stuff. And this is usually what happens. Okay, let's be honest. That's what always happens when you go and take a look behind closed doors. And that's relative because, in my opinion, what's happening out in the open is horrifying from the perspective of the creature being exploited. But before I lose you, let's get back to the point. It's already been like maybe 2 years ago when I already posted something about Costco chicken. I didn't have any of the horrifying footage. I didn't even have any proof that anything horrifying was happening. But this was back when I still went to Costco every now and then to get electronics and stuff like that, and sometimes some alcohol. And I was already plant-based, so I'm walking around and I see a wall of chickens, rotisserie chickens, so full-bodied chickens, and I'm just watching the people pick them off the shelf one after another, and I look behind into the production area. I guess it's not a kitchen, but it did look like the chickens were cooking back there, and it's just never ending. It's never ending. And I'm looking at this line of really impressive obese predators with their kill of the day going through the checkout line, and there's so many people, and the parking lot is packed. And that's one Costco in one section of town, because there's more than one Costco in that town. And then you just keep multiplying it and multiplying it and multiplying it. And my question is, how could what the chickens were living not have been a nightmare? You know, did we really need this undercover investigation? And I'm not saying that I'm unthankful for the effort of revealing what it was, but how could anything else have been the truth? How could anything else have been the reality? It's the never-ending supply of the flesh of a living creature. It means something that was alive had to produce the product that is being consumed at a Costco price. You can extend it to restaurants, fast food, etc., etc., etc. You know, a lot of people complain about the price of plant-based alternatives. I'm like, nothing should be more expensive than the body of a living creature that was raised and murdered for you to consume it. Now, I want you to know that I'm aware many of you have launched your defense already, saying things like, hey, I bet your vegetables don't come from the best possible source, or something suffered in the process of getting you your food. Look, just for one moment, stay in the reality of the body of the animal that you're eating. Stop deflecting. Stop trying to make your choice better because you can find a flaw in someone else's choice. And imagine an hour of one of those chickens' lives. Just an hour inside of those fucking hellholes where you can't move. The heat is excruciating. Their feathers are just falling out because they're so sick. They're bleeding out of their eyes. They have their beaks chopped off and their claws chopped off. Why? Because they're living in such horrific conditions that they will inevitably be in conflict with each other. But you don't want your products damaged before they've managed to blow up into an unnatural size that you can sell. So make sure and chop off every sharp piece of their body so that they don't prematurely end their lives, beyond all the ones that just fall over dead because the conditions are so goddamn nightmarish. And that's what you're putting in your body. And simultaneously talking about nutrition. It's a little bit old now, but I was required to watch Food Inc. as part of one of my ecology classes last semester. And I was talking about how Tyson, or one of those monster companies, hires or buys out smaller local chicken farmers and to produce for them. And these, quote, smaller chicken producers are just cranking out insane amounts of chickens, and they give you a sneak peek inside, and it's just corpses. Every day the woman even says she walks through there and she's picking up wheelbarrows full of bodies, and she's like, this is normal. And the living conditions are so bad that the animals just fall over and fucking die. It's not like they murdered each other. They just fucking die. And that was at smaller producers. And then here comes Costco building these mega structures and producing enough chickens inside of it that you can go anywhere, anytime, and grab yourself a fully rotisseried chicken corpse off the shelf and not have to worry about there not being one behind it to replace it. How can you produce that many living creatures in any sort of a good condition? And now I want to jump to things that I see on the roadside here in California, particularly when I go out to Point Reyes National Seashore, because these people pride themselves on being stewards of the land and how great it is to be not a factory farm. So there's this big old sign that says pasture raised local chickens, and their pasture is a pin of dirt. It's a pin of dirt. Do they have more space than a Costco chicken? I would imagine so. But it's a pin of dirt. And they're all tucked into one corner where they can find shade, hiding from the heat of the sun. And that is the best of the best. That's the best of the best. And that's what your expensive chicken or chicken eggs are going to come from. So let's just take that a few steps the other direction toward your cheapest possible chicken, and imagine how much worse the conditions can be. In fact, let's not even look at it that way. Let's imagine a planet in which chickens can have X amount of feet to themselves, to where they don't feel compelled to peck another chicken with their beak because it's in their space and it's able to dig and claw at the ground. The things that God or Mother Nature, however you want to approach it, gave that animal. Tools that animal was given so that it could specifically do the things it was designed to do, like claw and peck and search for food, all of which are taken away from it in these mass production facilities. So imagine green rolling hills with insects and worms and other stuff for the chickens to find. And then multiply that by the number of chickens that are bought in Costco in one day, and you have every hill in the United States already claimed. And that's just for 1 week's worth of rotisseried corpses from just one Costco. And of course, Costco is not the only place producing these budget corpses. I mean, that's what it is. That shouldn't offend you. That is the corpse of what was a living creature. And you have to, somewhere in your mind, pretend that prior to being killed, whatever beautiful, peaceful manner you want to pretend it died in, that it was living a good life. And it was whoever produced it for you, the really kind, ethical people at Costco, for example, had the chicken's best interest in mind and wanted to make sure that that chicken had the best life possible while still delivering to you an affordable price. How fucking dumb and gullible do you have to be? It's called denial. I don't actually think anyone is dumb enough to believe that. It's choosing to believe something that you don't actually believe. That kind of sounds like faith, doesn't it? Yeah. You don't have to see the gory evidence to be able to figure this stuff out on your own. There isn't any geographical way to raise that many chickens and still have any land left over and have those chickens not have, lived a miserable life or not have it cost a fortune, which is what the body of another living creature should cost you. It's the body of another living creature. It shouldn't be 99 cents for a fucking tub of wings or whatever you can get, 20-piece chicken nugget or whatever it is. That shouldn't be possible. A go-to is to always put yourself in their place. And I know this is dark, but if there was somebody running a market selling human flesh and they were trying to optimize their profits, what kind of living conditions do you think you and the other humans would be in order to produce enough of you in a rapid amount of time, but not spend a fortune on the facilities that you grow up in or the food that you eat? Maybe they spend some money pumping you full of antibiotics that keep you from dying the death that you would have otherwise died because of the incredibly diseased environment that you're living in. And then you get slaughtered so that your flesh can be sold at a discount price. The line doesn't end in Costco. The demand doesn't end at Costco. How can you possibly produce a never-ending supply of flesh at any store, anywhere in the country, at any time, without whatever's happening to those creatures being an absolute horror show?